The story of Sonic Gary Kergan reads like a twisted psycho thriller. It's characters the kind that creep into the storyline of your own surreal dreams, like Lila, the exotic teenage hooker stripper with a taste for psychological torment.
She was kind of enamored with the Hansen thing.
Her much older boyfriend, Ron, a man of dubious ambition.
He worked part-time as a clown in the French Quarter, making balloon animals.
There was Lila's paranormal protector, Squeaky.
Who is Squeaky?
Well, at that time they believed in a ghost that they call Squeaky.
Poisoned guinea pigs, mutilated corpses, we could go on. But what this story is really about, the vicious, calculated slaughter of Gary Kergan, a savvy hamburger magnate with a wife and a young son. And the brother who spent 30 years hunting down his brother's killers.
What I wasn't going to do was let him get away with it. I mean, hell no, there's no way that was going to happen.
Back in the 80s, an astute businessman named Gary Kergan predicted the Sonic burger chain had massive potential for growth.
You drive up, you have the car hop experience where the car hop brings your food out to the car and you eat in your vehicle.
Gary was the vision guy. I was very much more the nuts and bolts operator.
These two men were far more than business partners. They were deeply bonded siblings.
My story is my dad had a heart attack the day after I was born. Gary was in many ways like the dad that I didn't have.
And into adulthood, they remained inseparable. Ted even moved to Louisiana from Michigan to get in on the Sonic explosion with Gary.
Gary had negotiated a development agreement with Sonic to build a lot of restaurants in the New Orleans area. And this was something that at the time was pretty unheard of.
Gary was married to Susie. They had a young son named Wade. Ted was single at the time. It was a tight-knit family enjoying a good life with a promising future. Soon, another partner would team up with the Kergans. His name was Larry Tucker.
My dad owned Sonic drive-ins too, and Gary and my dad, Larry, were planning on buying a bunch of stores in the Baton Rouge area together.
Since the partners lived hours from Baton Rouge where they were doing business, they rented an apartment.
Just so I can understand, the apartment in Baton Rouge, that was who lived in there, and was it also an office? Just give me an idea, because it just sounds odd.
It takes a lot of work and time and energy, long days, to put Sonic together and make it work well. They realized we need to get an apartment that we can share when we're both in town, so we're not staying in hotels.
One very late November evening, Gary called Ted with some incredible news.
Gary had gone to Mississippi and had secured funding to build all these restaurants. So it was a huge deal for us and a huge milestone in our business.
Gary was beyond excited at what he had accomplished. He told Ted he was coming over to his house.
He wanted to talk about it, and we kind of wanted to, celebrate our success at this big milestone. So I said, yeah, this is great.
Strangely, Gary never showed.
I fell asleep on the couch. I didn't realize he hadn't showed up till I woke up in the morning. And I thought it was a little odd that he hadn't at least come by and woken me up.
If it had been anyone else, Ted may not have immediately panicked.
Gary was absolutely 100% coming to my house. He never said he was coming to my house that he didn't.
The anxiety was no more bearable for Gary's wife, Susie.
It was a significant enough event that Susie was almost hysterical. She knew something was wrong. I had my office call all of our restaurants. Gary had told Larry the exact same thing, and that he was on his way to my house.
How did this affect your father?
He was, at the time, very upset. He was with Gary a lot. They were very great friends. It was a shock to the system.
Ted went on a mission, canvassing every square inch of Baton Rouge.
When I'm talking about no stone unturned, I mean, I went to a store that I knew he had bought some shirts at. I mean, I literally went to every single place that he possibly could have been to. And it was literally like Gary just disappeared off the face of the earth.
It It was late when Gary was supposed to be on his way over. Ted worried he had fallen asleep at the wheel or took a wrong turn and ended up in a dark Louisiana swamp.
Well, I walked in and one of the dancers looked at me and said, "Hi, Gary," which